my thing is I only gave it 1 star because the wrestling in the match was good. Lawler's comedy was okay. It wasn't stupendous, but I mean, some of it made me giggle. But the ending was just embarrassing. Jim Ross said he was embarrassed to have to commentate this mess. And you can always tell when he really hates something, as he says, well, that's the first time we've seen anything like that, and most likely the last time.
You think at that time he'd have a say in something, but...
Jim Ross? Or Jerry Lawler?
Ross.
Jim didn't have a say in crap, as you can tell by when he talked, his podcast. But up next, we got X-Pac with China. We see a lot of China on this show, by the way. X-Pac with China.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Hart. Yeah. But he's taking on Owen Hart, and this match gets 8 minutes, 30 seconds. Decent amount of time. This is part of the DX versus Nation of Domination feud. Was Owen a part of the Nation at this point?
Yes.
Okay. I have a Jax figure of him, by the way, in this danger sign outfit. And I have a Jax figure of X-Pac. Yeah. And I have a Jax figure of X-Pac in this outfit too, the red one. Mark Henry runs out at one point and he splashes X-Pac outside the ring when the ref is distracted. China then gets in Henry's face before Vader rushes out and he nails Mark Henry and hilariously falls backward right onto his ass.
Seems to be a thing with Vader in the WWE anyways.
Yeah, I know. Like, what happened to him? But
it's funny though.
Distracts.
Looking at these two, like you think this would be a far better match.
I thought it was really good, but yeah, they had to.
It's definitely the best match so far, but
yeah, they had to have a ton of shenanigans, overbooked the crap out of it, and it ruined it, in my opinion. But anyway, this all distracts the referee while Owen has a sharpshooter locked in on X-Pac. China runs in, hits Owen with a DDT. X-Pac covers him and gets the win. And it seems like Owen always had to do the JOB for DX. That's the only thing. I really hated that.
Well, he was the heart that stayed.
Yeah. Well, Uncle Dave gave it 2 1/4 star. I gave it 2.5 stars.
Solid 2. Best match so far.
Yeah. It's not saying much, but you are correct. Then Paul Bearer comes out next to cut a promo showing a replay of The Undertaker busting into his house and beating his ass. I had forgotten about that. He says that Kane grew up alone, idolizing The Undertaker, watching him on Superstars, wanting to be him. And Paul finishes by saying that tonight will be the happiest night of his life when his son Kane becomes the WWF Champion. So, yeah, there's another hyping of the main event as if we really need it. Again, to your point, this promo could have been done on Heat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, this
also,
next match,
why do they make him call himself the Fat Man?
Yeah. He said you won't be laughing at the Fat Man anymore, or something like that. I'm like, okay. According to Bruce Pritchard, they weighed him I think he was one of the ones they weighed every week. And they'd bring in, and he said, well, it wasn't to shame them, but it was the only thing that could accurately get their weight. They brought in like those scales that they use for cattle. And they made him and Vader. Yeah. And he said they made Vader stand on it, and they made Paul Bearer stand on it. And Paul thought it was a joke, to rib him. And Bruce said, no, we were concerned about his weight. And we were like, dude, we have to weigh you on this thing. Quit eating. So, I don't know. But that was according to Bruce Pritchard. This next match, in my opinion, was the best match of the night up until this point. It's the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, again with China, defending the WWF Tag Team Championships against the New Midnight Express, Bombastic Bob, and Bodacious Bart. They had Jim Cornette in their corner. They get a decent amount of time, 9.5 minutes. This, oddly enough, was the first time the WWF Tag Team Champions and the NWA Tag Team Champions had ever faced off in history. Which, nice little footnote, but it's really a shame that nobody gave a damn.
Well, I think people would have gave a damn if it was a real Midnight Express, but
yeah, of course.
That's a dream match right there, them and the Outlaws. But
yeah, I'll say this. I thought this was a great team. They should not have saddled them with calling themselves the New Midnight Express and calling them bodacious and bombastic. Stupid.
Yeah. Also, watching this back, I realized this is I could be wrong, but this is like the first time the Smoking Guns were ever on opposite ends, right?
I think so. Yeah, because there was a cool moment, and it didn't get a whole lot of mention, but I thought it was a really cool moment where Billy and Bart came like face to face, kind of like forehead to forehead, like jaw jacking, and then they start beating on each other. It didn't last for very long, unfortunately, but it was there. In the end, Billy goes for a pile driver, but Cornette comes in and smacks him in the back with the title, I believe. Billy still manages to kick out of a pin after that. Then Cornette threatens Gunn again with the title, and Chyna comes in and low blows Corny. I could make a few jokes, but I'm not going to. Both of the Outlaws drop Holly with a double stun gun, and then Gunn pinned Bombastic Bob, and the Outlaws retain the titles.
Real name, by the way.
Yeah. Uncle Dave gave this 1.5 stars. I gave it 2.5 stars. I really liked it. Again, we had to have, I thought it was a ton of interference. Yeah. My thing is, like, every single match, somebody's interfering. It's overbooked. Every match. So it's meaningless. But,
there's a match coming up where no one gets involved, and,
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, this next match, it's the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. It's Ken Shamrock versus The Rock. It gets plenty of time, 14 minutes, 9 seconds. Chyna comes out for the third time in a row that night. But this time she comes out to do commentary with Triple H. On commentary, Triple H makes a bunch of masturbation jokes, and Chyna was on Spanish commentary, and they asked what she was saying, and he made a kind of a racist Taco Bell crack. It's like, they're like, what's she talking about? He's like, I don't know, saying something about I want Taco Bell. I'm like, oh my, this is really bad. But yeah, Triple H's commentary.
Can't blame Russo for that one either. I'm almost certain.
No. But yeah, Triple H's commentary consisted of a bunch of masturbation jokes. That's all it was. And then, like, at one point, he gets off commentary, and when he comes back, he says, testes, 1, 2, 3? That one made me laugh. I'll say that. But, dang, there's a ton of dick jokes. But getting into the actual match, The Rock gets out of the ring, walks over to Triple H, and Triple H takes a swig of water and spits it in his face. In the end, Ken Shamrock forced The Rock to submit to an ankle lock. So he becomes the 1998 King of the Ring, no crown, no sash or cloak or whatever the hell. I'm sure he wasn't, upset about that one.
I think him and Billy Gunn are both in the running for the most forgettable King of the Ring ever, by the way.
The only reason I remember him being King of the Ring is because of this event as a whole. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Uncle Dave gave this 3 1/4 stars. I just rounded up and gave it 3 stars.
Same, yeah. I thought this was actually the best match tonight now.
Yes, this was really, really damn good. We finally...
Ken Shamrock, by the way, very underrated as a wrestler, I think.
Oh, yeah, he was fantastic. I thought he was great. Jim Ross said the only reason they didn't push him more was because he wasn't dedicated to wrestling. He still had aspirations of going back to the UFC. And
never won another fight again, so it makes you wonder why.
Yeah. Well, and then he said Shamrock wasn't reliable. Like, he no-showed a bunch of house shows. He would show up late to TV tapings, stuff like that. So he was like, well, we're not going to invest our time into a guy that we can't rely on, which makes a lot more sense now as to why they didn't push him. Because I think he could have been, a top, like, maybe not the top guy, but I think he could have been, a main event top guy. But, yeah, now's the match everybody wants to hear about, Greg. It's The Undertaker versus Mankind, Hell in a Cell, tons and tons of time, 17 minutes and 38 seconds.
And we know this has been done to death, by the way.
Yeah. So we'll just kind of hit the highlights here. Undertaker was wrestling this match with a broken ankle, I believe. And I think he had hurt ribs that he was, like, putting a Kevlar vest over. I believe this was the time.
Even more crazy, the fact that he had a broken ankle and climbed a damn cage twice.
Yep. And this was before they put the footholes in it.
Yeah.
So they were literally climbing a cage. Foley said it was so difficult to get up there, especially with as heavy as he was climbing that thing. He said he couldn't feel his fingers by the time he got up there. So there's that.
Well, how little do we know? That'd be the least of his problems.
All right. It all started on top of the cell with Foley in a chair. Foley threw the chair up there, or excuse me, Mankind, whatever, threw the chair up there, and he climbed up. Mankind got chucked off through an announce table, as we all know. This elicits one of the most famous calls in wrestling history from Jim Ross, where he said, "Good God Almighty, they killed him. As God is my witness, he's broken in half." I think he has a T-shirt that says that, by the way.
I would not doubt it.
He's taken away on a stretcher. Mankind, that is. Pronouns, pal. Mankind's taken away on a stretcher, gets off the stretcher, runs back, and climbs back on top of the cell, and then he gets chokeslammed through it. That chair that he threw up there earlier came down, smacked him in the face, and knocked a tooth or two out. This elicits another famous call from Jerry Lawler where he says, "That's it, he's dead."
What's scary about that is Lawler's kind of calm about it. But looking back,
yeah.
I don't think he was calm. I think he was like genuinely worried and he just didn't want to yell.
Yeah. Well, Mankind said or Mick Foley, whatever, said he asked The Undertaker later, he's like, "So what did you think looking down at me?" He's like, "I thought you were dead." I'm like, damn. Yeah.
Oh, no big deal. I thought you died, whatever.
Yeah. Well, we
all die, right?
If you can't mourn forever, because Terry Funk comes in. Right. Terry Funk comes in to kind of buy some time while, Mankind is trying to get his wits about him, which he never fully does. He does enough to finish the match. But this was not, like, part of the plan, by the way. Terry Funk just improvises. He comes in, and he takes a chokeslam from The Undertaker. Undertaker literally chokeslams him out of his sneakers. His old man sneakers, by the way.
And you're not lying when you say literally.
Yeah, his old man sneakers went flying. But yeah, if you want to know what I mean by old man sneakers, go back and look at just he was dressed like he was getting ready to grill up a mean burger for the family.
Oh, he might have been.
Mankind pours thumbtacks all over the mat. Undertaker chokeslams him onto them. And then the Undertaker finally pins Mankind in the end after a tombstone pile driver. Uncle Dave gave this 4 1/4 stars. I did not think so highly of the match because it was just a car crash. I gave it 2.5 stars.
I gave it 3 for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining. I'll say that. But as a match, meh. Later, I guess, Mick Foley was obviously pretty messed up after this, and he kept asking Undertaker and others. He was like, "Hey, he's like, I forgot to use the thumbtacks." Meanwhile, they're pulling thumbtacks out of his back as he's speaking, and they're like,
"Man,
no, Jack, you used them." He's like, "Oh, did I? Good."
Good?
Yeah. This was
guy's life's on the line, and he's like worried about using thumbtacks. Wow.
I know. This was not the last of Mick Foley we'd see this, by the way, so buckle up, Guru.
It's even more crazy when you say that, though. How is this not the last we didn't see of him?
I know. The main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin defends the WWF Championship against Kane with Paul Bearer. It's a first blood match. This one also gets plenty of time, just shy of 15 minutes. Austin had been hospitalized with a staph infection and spent a good